so that those who are not here can watch it later if they would like. So we've got a couple of topics for order of business. We have really upped our player base. We're sitting pretty good. We're sitting about 94 last I checked, probably 95 now because we just got a recent member. So it is coming to the point where we're going to have to start filtering through and making sure that we're getting more active players, as we are seeing right around 30 players, so we're getting close for that second team. So we start cleaning up through the rosters, make sure our people are getting the reminders, hey, haven't seen you a while, what's going on? You know, just a heads up, need to be active, otherwise we're going to open up the spot for somebody else. So, based off particular criteria that is already inside the bylaws for activity, that's how we're going to be going through that list and looking at people for candidates to bring in another person instead. But of course, those people who have been deployed are protected, like Titans is deployed, so he won't be a candidate for being removed. But we need an officer to do that, to go through and filter this information. So the officer duties is going to be, basically they're going to get permissions on Slack. They will be going through cleaning up the accounts that are being removed and are no longer present, as well as going through and checking through the World of Tanks website for the criteria and clan tools for the criteria. He will then be responsible for sending out the reminders. He will also be responsible for removing the people from the clan. He'll be expected to probably go through the list at least once a week. So, that being said, we have a particular candidate that we have all agreed upon to bring forward to you guys. So we are nominating Devil and Blue for this position. So at this time, let's go ahead and go into the vote vault there in Slack, and you will see that there is a vote for Devil to be appointed to a personnel officer, and you can vote yes or no. Go ahead at this time and vote.
We discuss. I have a question.
Go ahead.
A personnel officer is not able to do things like enable artillery strikes and strongholds.
Yes, he would.
Oh, he does? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm happy then.
Anything above a combat officer can do that. Or a combat officer. It's a channel in Slack.
I do not see it at all.
Alright,
so the channels and go down to the vote vault.
Yep.
You may not subscribe. You may not have to subscribe. So.
Yeah, you have to click on channels itself, not the plus button.
One more thing, Devil, are you... Is this what you really want?
I will take the nomination.
Okay.
Alright, so we have a overwhelming yes so far.
What? I'm saying bylaws changed.
Yes, there's going to be a couple other things. Nem, for shame, that topic hasn't come up yet.
There we go.
Don't vote on that yet.
Sorry.
Yeah, I got yelled at too. It's no big deal. There's down at the bottom. The last voting thing is to prevent this.
I vote no on that.
Alright, so that one's been talked about, kind of seeing which way that one's going, so let's move on to the next topic. So we had an event that occurred where a delegation of a battle was missed, and we had to get 2 teams to field a double. And so, due to the mistake, G was willing to send some players over and help us field that second team. There was some account sharing in that. As the bylaws stand, it's a violation of the bylaws to have done what was done. So, having done some research and found on the World of Tanks website in the user agreement their exact verbiage on clan sharing, I felt it was necessary to go forward to the officers and say, hey, look, I suggest that we change these bylaws. Through unanimous consent through the officers, we have all agreed that the change in the bylaws is probably necessary. So what we are proposing to change it from is account sharing will be frowned upon. There will be no account sharing in any capacity in clan wars or tournaments. We want to amend it to almost verbatim what World of Tanks has you agree to already. We shall have no liability to you for any loss of damage arising from any unauthorized use of your account or any unauthorized access, use, alteration, modification, and or disclosure of your personal information. You will personally be held responsible for any actions that happens during account sharing. So that one is up for vote, and I need to modify that one a little bit.
User joined your channel.
Question.
Yes.
You said that you did investigate the actual official wargaming position on this.
Yes. When we are.
What was that?
TLDR is very simply put, you're responsible.
So it's not against rules to share accounts as far as wargaming is concerned.
What the TLDR is, if whoever is playing your account does something that they deem is against EULA, you're responsible.
But the sharing itself is not
I have answered the question. Interpret that how you want.
Basically what they're saying is you can do it, but we don't want to know about it, and if something bad happens, it's your
Don't
fault.
tell us.
Okay, that's cool.
That is what they're telling you.
You are asking too many questions, PDX.
Well, that's what meetings.
I'm just saying the way it's written, you are literally asking too many questions.
It's simple.
Stupid question.
Deniable.
Is my vote showing up? I don't know how this vote vault works because I clicked.
You
Press
click
the 1 button or
one
the 2
for yes.
button.
It's down at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's not where it actually says 1 and 2 for yes. There's two little squares at the bottom that you can barely see that you click on. One of them's 2, one of them's 1.
Yeah.
Right, I see that, but when I click it, it doesn't. I don't show up in the list of who voted for what.
Then you're not clicking the right thing. Down at the bottom next to delete poll is a 1 and a 2.
Yeah.
There you go.
Got it.
Yeah.
There you go.
But if you hit the delete poll button, I'll give you 500 gold.
Don't do it. All right.
As
So
the real hero.
based off the votes, that bylaw will be amended.
I abstain.
Yeah, me too.
Gasp.
There's no abstain buttons, Lange. If you'd put it, I would publicly put it right there for permanent record.
Your opponent can't make a decision.
All right. So we've got most of the votes there on that one. So let's move on to our next topic. So one of the things that came out of an officer meeting is a proposed change to the way that debriefs will be done. And this will be only applicable to Clan Wars debriefs. One of the things that we've had issues with on our debriefs is we get a lot of talking going and people are talking over each other. And sometimes the conversation needs to be between callers and those people who are more heavily invested. Sometimes it's more important that the people who were not in those high positions were being quiet. Sometimes an important point comes up and we want to make sure that people have an opportunity to talk. But as we've been doing here in town hall meetings, like Buddy Dog just did there, he posted the one in TeamSpeak. We're looking to adopt this for the debriefs as well. So that way we don't have people talking over each other. The only people who have immediate granted speaking privileges is going to be the officers, callers, or people of that nature. You type a 1 and then you can be granted that speaking privilege by the caller or whoever was leading that Clan Wars battle or some of the other officers at their discretion. So if you are good with this and the adoption of this as a permanent, then go ahead and vote on this now.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
And Buddy Dog, go ahead.
I before E, except after C.
He has no reference for that, buddy. Come on. You're You're gonna have to explain that one to him.
I mean, I get the spelling thing, but
Debriefs.
Debrief.
I before
Debriefs.
E, except after C.
oh,
PW debrief.
I don't want to debrief you.
Debriefs.
You're what?
Debriefs?
aircraft mechanics don't have to spell.
I'm voting no.
There's
until
no
you spell
logbooks
check
or
it.
anything you gotta keep up to date.
I'm gonna hit the delete poll button.
No balls? Question mark.
There it is.
I'll look it up for you.
We already have.
No, it's a bannable offense for like almost all online games.
Yes.
League
it
of
was
Legends.
Okay, Nation. We went
right.
through. We went through it. Okay, I'm gonna explain this. We went through it. Okay. TLDR. They got so tired of dealing with this bullshit. Okay. That they literally put it in there. We don't care who's playing your fucking account if we don't know about it. If they do something wrong, we're just gonna ban you for it, and there's gonna be no recourse. Period.
Yeah, what I was kind of saying, as long as they don't know about it, then
But the point is that they aren't going to go through the effort to figure it out either.
yeah, I know. But if
Whereas
you make
other
it
games
obvious,
will put in that effort, like World of
But if-
Warcraft,
yeah.
things of that nature. Here's the deal: I can pay somebody $150 right now in Russia to play my account, and Wargaming won't raise an eyebrow, as long as that person doesn't cheat.
No, paying for something is a bad offense. Like,
Well,
sharing
yes,
is perfectly
yes,
fine.
but you see, if they don't know that I paid for something, then
If
they
they
don't.
have proof that he shared his account, they probably won't ban him. They won't look. But if they have proof that he paid for a service to share his account, like he's saying, that is a bannable offense.
Here is
Right.
their exact
Right.
verbiage.
Okay. Everybody good? Moving on.
User joined your channel.
Go ahead, Thomas.
Wonder Jar, when he was in Reckless Onslaught, he shared his account with another person. That person left. They clicked leave clan for Wander, and Wander had no recourse because he couldn't go to Wargaming and go, hey, some guy was playing my account and he left the clan.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Basically, you got to make sure you give it to someone who you trust.
Or don't. I
Or
mean,
who
that's
you
the
know is
best
going to
option.
abuse the shit out of your account and you don't care.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I promise if you share your account with me, I'll sell every tank you have, including the premiums.
I just wanted to give him an example because he.
You can't because you only can sell so many a day.
Well,
generally,
your prems will
don't-
go first.
generally you should never share your account. Never.
Yes, we know.
Nobody
Moving
wants
on.
my account.
Don't
All right.
mess this up with the consequences.
So, moving on. This one is in here for me just because it's important that initiatives gets talked about before they get voted on so that any questions can be answered so that people have a good understanding of what they're voting on, because sometimes the text itself is not enough to explain the issue, in my opinion. So, I propose the initiative that there should be a bylaw that people will not vote on initiatives or polls until directed to do so during a town hall meeting or as otherwise directed, because sometimes polls do come up.
Holy fucking bureaucracy, Batman.
I know!
I deleted the poll. I'm telling you right now, I just deleted it. That's just
That's asinine
fucking
bullshit. That wasn't talking about
retarded.
officers. I am completely taking that off the floor. No.
no.
Everyone's already voted no to it.
It's
so-
sinking
So,
anyways.
point of order, it does not pass.
Yeah,
All
no.
in favor of avoiding this unnecessary bureaucracy, aye.
Aye.
Resounding ayes.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
Type it in chat.
Nice try.
That was included.
It's 11-0.
Yeah. Bam! There! It's not 11-0 anymore! What now?
Can't vote on your own.
Slange got his bitch slapped going.
Alright, so that fails.
Well, of course it was gonna fail.
Alright, so one of the other things is I'm going to let Cash take the floor on this one. We're looking at modifying Hunter's duties a little bit here to accommodate the needs for the competitive group.
This would not actually be for general clan vote.
Yeah.
No,
and
it's not for a
I-
vote.
I
This
said
is not a vote. This is just an announcement so that people understand.
It's not a thing yet. I specifically said that we would take care of this at a future date.
Okay.
So we're still ongoing in the process.
Okay.
However, I mean, this is as good as we've got 10 people here right now. This is as better as any is to amend the bylaws.
User joined your channel.
Yeah.
So I mean, like taking a quick little thing here, we got 10 people on. That's a majority of the comp team. We can just amend the bylaw now.
So as long as it's as long as no more than 2 people object, it would pass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
So what are we talking about that I missed?
All right, so the comp team has decided for well, Cash, it's your idea. Go ahead.
Okay. So when an officer needs to talk one-on-one with a person, we're talking about having someone come in as an observer, somebody who's impartial and not really part of the officer core group for the competitive team. As a witness, and we have nominated Hunter for that position, in addition to his non-competitive team officer position.
Go ahead, Maximus.
Is that person a silent witness?
Yes.
Mostly, yes.
Well,
We would prefer it that way.
yeah, to me that would be the sticky of the issue. Because I get why you have an independent person there, but the moment that independent person injects anything to the commentary, it could immediately be viewed as a 2-on-1, which from my understanding would be why you want the witness there.
That person wouldn't be there to be part of the conversation. That person would be there to stop the conversation if there were a problem.
Okay.
Why not just
I would like to explain. Well, okay. So there's a couple reasons here, guys. This is based off of past shit I've dealt with. Like, shall I say the name Choco?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, like, listen. You go into a place, somebody starts recording, you get defensive anyways, right? You get 2 people in the room, you're gonna get defensive anyways. But the thing is, Hunter's duty specifically as a morale and welfare officer is, people being in generally a good mood. So I feel like this coincides. He has graciously accepted this and is willing to do this for the comp team. He's just there to listen. He's just there to make sure everything's above board. He should not be talking. And if he is interjecting, then we're going to have to go back and readjust it. We can just do it through one in the channel.
Yeah.
That'd work. Okay.
So, I mean, that's the purpose of this, guys. It is not to have another voice, and it's not for somebody else to do it. He is just going to be there to basically say, yeah, no, everything was above board. And so that way you're not getting pulled into a channel, guys, with, like, me and fucking Pad with our arms crossed, and you're going, man, fuck this.
It's bad cop, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just the impartial. This is for you guys. I mean, if you guys are fine with me and Pad just fucking ganging up on you, that's great. Let's roll it. But I mean,
most likely me, but me and Pat or me and Chibi, but
you know what I'm saying? So this is for you guys. This is something we were trying to do to alleviate, you guys feeling like if you're going to get ganged up on or anything like that. So at this point in time, if there's no more discussion, we can move to a vote with a 1 for yes, 0 for no.
This would only be for competitive team.
And Pat abstains.
Of course. Somebody's got to be the neutral guy.
And yes, he's just there to be an impartial witness to a one-on-one conversation.
I mean, I agree. I'm in the middle of a game. I'm sorry, Chibi.
Okay, that's fine. So then it's a unanimous pass for the comp team.
Looks
there
like
were
it.
no objections. I will amend those.
Yep.
Perfect. Chibi, you've actually done a couple things to the document that you have our bylaws on, like who's at what position and whatever.
Oh yeah,
that
but those
needs
were already passed like way before.
Right.
I just
We just need them updated in public records. So after you do this, maybe throw the whole document up again in public records.
It should automatically reflect. It's a live document. I
Oh,
believe.
is it? Okay, perfect. That's fine then.
Yeah, it should be a live document, so it should constantly reflect any changes.
Live documents are great.
Yep. I'll double tap it after I make the changes tonight, just to make sure, but it should be. Have you guys already talked about the weights?
No.
We have not.
Okay. I was gonna bring that up next.
Blanche, the floor's yours again.
Okay.
That's all we need.
So I've got one other little announcement here that I noticed there was some confusion going on, so I made a change. As you guys noticed, Cash now has Command Sergeant Major to reflect his position inside of Fisting 55th and no longer has the Combat Officer tag. That needed to happen because people were getting confused as to, wait, he's a Combat Officer. Why is he calling on this level? Why is he doing this? So that Command Sergeant Major server group got made and assigned to clear that up. Please note that part of the reason why the Combat Officer tag exists is because of Wargaming's function and how they do things. I cannot give people a specific permission to say, yes, you can access the artillery strikes and high-capacity transports. They have to be a combat officer or above in order to access those. So most of the reason for some people running around with combat officer tags is specifically so that we can have those skirmishes or an advance running around where now multiple people can go, yeah, just put me in control of it. I'm not calling it, but I'm able to put those artillery strikes up so that we have them when we need them. So that's where Cash's change and the general change and reason why, where it comes from. Go ahead, Cash.
It wasn't really a change, it was more of an update, just primarily for TeamSpeak. I had been voted into this position when the competitive team bylaws were created.
Correct.
So this just reflects that. That'll be all.
All right, and that's pretty much all I've got.
Nope.
Competition.
Competition weight. I'll handle this.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh
yeah, those.
I'll do this one. All right. So this was brought up by Chibi a while ago, and I reintroduced it to the officers after discussing it with Cash and Chibi. We want to amend the clan bylaws to reflect a more weighted payout to people on the comp team. I do believe it was not much of a bump. It was just a small one, based on the fact that for the most part, the comp team is going to pull in 100% of all the gold the clan has to give away. And we talked about it. Some people were for it, some people were against it, but we want to put it to a vote for everybody so that you guys can think about it. And I know a lot of people are going to have objections to this, so let's hear them.
So, and, before objections kick in, I want to give you guys the actual logic behind this. Okay, so when we made the comp team, we made it and we said, okay, so these guys are going to spend potentially money or time. Time is money, so I don't really care. They're going to spend money ultimately to be competitive. The amount of credits you need per season, you know, to farm out your credits, premium account time, or whether you go and dump, you know, $50 for credits or whatever the hell you do. I don't care. But you're going to do it. And what are you getting right now to participate and be on the competitive team other than a nice shiny badge that says, you know, hey, I like to fist things? Absolutely nothing. So I proposed that the comp team should have something of a reward. And the easiest to me was to have a heavier weight. I'm not saying it needs to be a ton. This weight, also with this proposal, understand that 1.25 is the starting point. I'm going to sit down with the officers after we see what a 1.25 weight actually does at the end of season and determine if that number needs to be bumped down or bumped up. Okay, this is just a starting point, but I didn't want to do anything too aggressive. I'd like it to be extraordinarily gradual. I'm not asking for a lot, guys. I'm not asking for like half the treasury to go to the comp team. I'm just saying the comp team deserves 100, 200 more. You know, they deserve that extra thing for the time and effort they're putting in. Now, with this being said, if this gets passed, you are on the comp team and you are not showing up for battles,
you will be kicked.
You are not putting in the time. You are not putting in the effort. I'll find the people who want that gold.
If you're close, we may keep you on the comp team, but suggest that you not get the extra weight per code, and give you another season to figure, you know, your responsibility to the team out. But if you're not making the battles, you probably won't be getting the gold, because that's how shit works.
Thomas?
Yeah, I think people that are here 5, 6, 7 nights a week to do this should get a little bit more weighted in there. But you got some guys that are not part of the comp team that are there a lot of the time. So I just want to make sure you keep in mind who all those people are. That's all.
We do, and we recruit from those people when we talk about swapping people in and out. The people who are there are the people we start going, hey, this dude should get on the comp team.
Right. I got you. I mean, I want to make sure that they're not forgotten too. That's all.
All right, PDX is a great example. He wants to talk next, so maybe I can alleviate the problem before it happens. PDX has the most codes out of anyone who's not on the competitive team. He's there every night. He's got tanks readied up. He gets a few games, but not as many games as the people on the comp team. He doesn't have all the tanks, and we pick other people first. He doesn't get into as many games as he could, but he's there all the time. Currently, he would make more gold than I would for this season, which would be kind of crappy because I'm playing more matches than he is. He's there all the time, but he's not playing the games. He's not losing the credits. He's not putting in the extra effort to call. But he would still, under these changes, make a considerable amount of gold. It would change what he makes personally. He'd lose 50 gold. Probably. But everyone else on the comp team that's putting in the effort, the extra time, putting in those games, losing the credits, spending the extra time making credits so that they can continue to be on the competitive team, would get bumped up just a little bit.
Oh, and don't forget, I'm also by far the leader of industrial resources at the...
Right. And well, I didn't put a 1 in there, but that's the other thing too, is Hunter wants to try to help focus on, if you don't get picked to fight a certain fight, then go start a strong. Go run strongs. I mean, the comp team
User
people,
joined your channel.
you know, unless it's like an off day for us, like last night I heard you guys fought. I was out doing family stuff because we'd agreed we weren't fighting, and then somebody did something and we had to fight a Himmelsdorf.
It was taken care of, and that's all that matters.
I know it was taken care of, and we appreciate that.
User left your channel.
But, you know, if you're not on the comp team, you don't get picked for a fight, you know, go run a strong. And that's how you guys can earn your gold in your boxes. At least, I think that's how we...
Well, there's no gold payout for a box collection in a stronghold.
Well, that's not true. If box
because
collection gets back up, Hunter will do a gold payout.
Yes. But that's
so
my...
there's no code for it. There's no weighted scale that's going to give you gold.
Right. Correct.
Hunter will do it. Boomer, you've got the floor. But you need to unmute your mic to talk. Hey, Boomer, when you figure out how to unmute your mic, you have the floor. Buddy, you're up.
Yeah, before I lose my train of thought here, I have no problem with extra credits for people playing on the comp team, but to use a broad sweeping generality and say, well, you guys that aren't picked go play strongholds. Well, we need callers for strongholds if we're going to be carrying strongholds. I'm sorry, they're just not that casual for us, and unfortunately most of our better tacticians are on the comp team.
So to answer your question, buddy, start calling.
No, not me.
Well, somebody can start. I mean, that's a general term. That's not to you. That's a general term. You want to become a caller? You want to get a caller? Start calling. Done and done. It's a simple solution.
Not that simple, I would disagree.
One of the other things that I'm going to be doing, Buddy Dog, is that I'm trying to abstain from Clan Wars battles unless they really need me, so that I can be there and call and work on training other callers and going through that process. That's where my duty lies.
Yeah, I've got a list of people. Nation, you're up.
All right, I have a couple of things to say. One is, well, I'm not sure what order to. How does this affect the comp team players who are going for tanks? Are they still excluded from gold, or are they now in gold?
So if you go for a tank and you're part of the comp team during a competitive season, you are wavering away all your weighted gold scale. That goes away. You still have to submit attendance, but your weighted gold scale goes away.
Okay, that was one question. Let's see. And another one. Are you sure you want to change this middle of the season rather than in between seasons?
So the officer corps proposed that I bring this up at the end of the season, and come in behind.
That was my proposal. I was talking about doing it for the next season, which was mistaken. I was talking about the next season and not interrupting this season's dynamic already. Yeah. So
because there's a bit of a feel of like it's a bit awkward. It's kind of like a little bait and switch. You know what I'm saying? Like people are expecting one thing, but you're changing the rules middle way. It's kind of weird. Then.
I mean, that's something that can be proposed if there wants to be an amendment for it for next season or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I tried to bring this up literally 2 months ago, and I had all the officers laugh at me at that point in time. And this last time, they kind of like rolled their eyes. So this has kind of been an ongoing thing. This is something I've been talking about literally for months.
And then another thing is, have you considered making codes for every single battle, or is that too taxing instead of
that's
today?
Way too taxing.
That would give you a
much more.
That would give you a much more accurate thing.
Too many would be missing codes, so one code for all night is way easier to make sure that all of the players are hitting.
Yeah,
the responsibility for an officer to make sure that everybody is clicking the code that they should be for each battle is just too much work.
We have problems getting people to click it once a night.
Okay.
I mean, like seriously. And that's because every time we post that code, how many times do you think you post that code, buddy?
Lots.
Because the responsibility, bottom line, goes to the officer to make sure that the code is posted. It is the responsibility of the player to then click the code. They will have to deal with the consequences of not clicking the code if they choose not to click the code.
Yeah, I was just trying to suggest that because it would give you a better indication of how many people are.
No, I played plenty of times during Clan Wars battles, so.
I'm often here only for like if I close at work, then I'm only usually here for the last one or something like that. So it might not seem fair that if I'm getting the code for the last one versus somebody who was in for like 3 or 4 battles.
And that is why that specifically was my argument on why I think the comp team should have a weighted code, because you have a lot of people right now who just show up, who may or may not get in, who are leading the leaderboards, who do have this huge lead, right?
Yeah.
So that was why it's a one-time code that I would produce for the clan competitive team that I would post basically probably in the middle of the night, or if you were there, and then if you showed up late or something and were there for a battle, you would get with me and I would hand you the code specifically.
So this is kind of a compromise, because ideally I think the code for every battle would be the most accurate. It would solve it. But it causes a lot extra work that you guys don't want to deal with, right?
It'd be easy if Clan Tools could track in-game who participated in the battle and who was in the queue, but it can't. So we're stuck with the damn codes, and it isn't ideal in any sort of way, but it's the best we have.
And the last thing is, you might also want to be careful in how this changes the kind of the incentive structure for non-comp players for even showing up, which you don't want people to, not show up. So
which is why I want to keep that number small. Like I said, a 1.25 weight is basically saying every 4th night the comp team acts as if they had an extra day in the game.
The idea is also to have those people who showed up to fight but aren't participating in the battle to go hit a strong in between. So they're working on box games. So they're getting payouts eventually when it gets high enough that Hunter can pay out again. They'll be getting gold that way too, and that will help change the difference between the two.
that idea sounds okay, but it feels rather unstructured way of doing it right now.
Well, it keeps those people active instead of just showing up, sitting in the queue, leaving, and doing it again in 15 minutes while they watch Netflix or whatever.
So part of the reason why it feels unstructured and why it has to be this way is because we can't say, okay, guess what? Battle's popped. Time to go hit Strunks. I'm going to make you get on your computer now. It requires the initiative of our player base to come forward and say, yes, we're here, but okay, we're going to go participate in the Strunks. Whether we are successful in getting those Strunks up or not, again, comes back to the individual players. It is my duty and other callers and officers that are not involved inside of the Clan Wars battle that don't have other duties that they need to attend to, that we need to be making sure that opportunity exists. If the player base takes that opportunity, great. If they don't, then that's on the player base.
All right.
We
PDX,
are, yeah, looking at PDX.
Okay, I don't think it should be changed mid-season, but that's just me. The other issue is what is preventing gold payout. Okay, Hunter's proposed that gold payout be limited to people who make above 1,500 boxes over.
Okay, we're not talking about that. Irrelevant.
We're talking specifically about Clan Wars.
Yeah,
but that was part of the reason that don't worry about it.
Kind of a side thing, but
the boxes is a different issue altogether.
It was brought up as something that a reason.
Right, I was pointing out that you get gold payout from that. You don't get gold payout or code from it. Just because the clan itself isn't making enough boxes right now to make it worthwhile. Is that why you discontinued it, Hunter?
Yes, right now the box production was too low, in my opinion, to justify a payout of gold.
Well, okay, can we talk? Okay, let's go ahead and talk about that after.
No, yeah, that's a totally different subject. If you want to bring that up, that's a later thing.
All right,
Gosh,
Maximus.
I'm you on tier. Yep, thank you.
Go ahead, Maximus.
Yeah. First, one's a question, so it gets framing in everybody's mind, and then the second is a suggestion. First, what is the realistic share expectation we're talking about? If it's 1,000 gold, I just made 2,000 for an hour's worth of work today instead of 10 weeks. It's 100,000 gold. That's a dramatically different topic about 1 versus 1.25.
Hang on 1 second. I'm going to go pull up last season's payout, and I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
Okay. So give me 1 second here, and I'm going to pull that up. And I will basically tell you what it's going to look like based off of share. Because you have to remember, shares basically dictate how much of the pot you get.
Right.
So, which bottom line, what this comes down to is depending how effective the competitive team and our general player base is for the semi-comp team, that means that we're bringing in more gold. More gold comes in, more gold goes out. Less gold comes in, less gold goes out. So it all depends on how effective we are.
Here we go.
Right,
I've got the payout scale right now. Okay. Last season, okay, we paid out. This was kind of a combined thing. We paid out 41,000 shares, basically. Okay. So, sorry, that was total shares cost. The shares were 538 shares. The total shares cost was 41,426. Okay. The number one share group was Devil and D-Man. They made 1,925 gold. The bottom payout was Pay Group 7, and they made 77 gold.
Okay.
Realistically, you're looking at placing in the 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll say the top 5 groups. You're going to make in between 1,925 and 1,386 gold, depending on how much gold we have to share out.
Okay. So, thank you for answering that, because that puts it in perspective. It's a very small amount of gold for a large
so last
quantity
season, for the record, I was in the 1,309 gold pay group, and I was the main caller.
Right. So we're not talking a massive sum of anything.
No.
Which is, yeah, right. We're talking an extra share here and there. So the difference would have been that I might have ended up in pay group 4 instead of, or the 1,771 pay group.
Okay.
Which is where PDX was, had I done that.
So it's a quarter share above, at best, let's round it up, a 5,000 gold payout. We'll just make it seem ridiculously large, which would be 4 times more than the top of last year.
Right.
Still, for a 10-week investment, not anything. I mean, compared to like we played a tournament today and I got 2,000 gold for an hour and a half's worth of work.
Right.
So
this is literally just an attaboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying, it's not just for me, it's for everybody. It was the framing. Because if it was a significant amount of gold, I would suggest we made the voting period longer because we have majority comp team here in this particular meeting, and I want everybody, but this is such a trivial amount of gold, that
we'll see you later,
Hazars. Today.
Later, Hazars.
Bye, Hazars. Enjoy hockey.
Right, yeah. So this really is a nominal amount. And like I said, it might need to be adjusted up depending on how much it affects the pay scale. It might need to be adjusted down. I want to see what a 0.25 is going to do. And then, well, like I said, I'm not looking to pay anybody out, 1,000 more gold than somebody who doesn't have it. I'm looking for a couple hundred extra gold to my guys. They at least deserve to be in the top brackets of our gold payout for what they're doing. And that's just to ensure that they do end up in the top brackets because they are the one fighting the battles. There's no reason why Max, Hunter, D-Man should be beat out by PDX when they're here a majority of the nights and they're the ones who are bleeding the credits for the fights. They should be getting those top payouts. Did you have a comment after that, Max?
No. Well, it was... I asked the first question because I wanted it to be... I was going to make a recommendation that if it was a significant amount of gold, that we open the voting period for longer than today.
Okay, so then this has been covered. We need to keep this moving. So that pretty much taken care of. Pat him on.
You're up.
Pat had a comment.
Right. So, I'm going to answer this. I think, was it Najin brought it up? Najin's upset because we're imposing this now and you answered the question, but what it boils down to is I could be PDX. I'm on the comp team. I'll just show up, put the fucking code in, and just sit there. How's that fair? I mean, this is going to make people mad. It's going to make PDX mad. It's going to make Najin mad. It's going to make a lot of you mad. But you got to see it from our perspective and how we're doing it. We don't win. We don't fight. We don't get the gold in. You guys don't get shit. You guys just get you get to sit there and say, oh, it's part of the clan during Clan Wars. That's the reason why we're asking for a little bit more. Not a lot. Because if we don't win, we fail, the clan gets nothing. We win, we want a little bit more. I'm the greedy son of a bitch. I'm sorry. I'm going to be greedy on this. Like everybody said, bleeding credits, here every night, sacrificing whatever to be here. I want something more instead of a shiny badge. Or I'll just drop comp tag, show up every night, put a code in, and watch Netflix like Cash said.
No,
that's my comment.
I totally agree with you guys that...
Okay, Thomas, hang on.
You're out of order there, Thomas.
D-Man, you're up.
I was just going to talk about Clan Wars. In Clan Wars, most people will do tier 8s and tier 6s. They don't usually call. It's usually just using your premium tanks and just having fun. I played with a lot of high-end clans lately, the last couple of weeks, and that's all I do.
They just roll out and shoot.
So I want to address this one.
They ping on the map or whatever.
Strongholds and how they're called can be pushed to the side. That's
agreed.
Another topic. EDK?
Yeah, historically, I've been an officer in other clans, competitive clans. The attendance code was fine, but there was also a second recording of who actually played in the battles, and those guys got a premium based on their participation in the battle.
Right, this is similar logic to what we're proposing, basically.
Cash.
Yep, Cash, you're up.
All right, let me put this into perspective for everybody. From now on, now that we have most of the people out of the way with their 5 battles, we're doing comp team 13 out of 15 every game.
Some exceptions may apply.
Right. Most of the games being fought are going to be by the comp team. Most of those people with the codes that aren't on the comp team are going to be sitting out. There's going to be 2 or 3 people per game that get in. Those people are going to mostly change based on what tank they have. The people earning the gold, in this case, aren't getting the fairness of their work out in payout at the end. There are a lot of other ways for the non-competitive guys to get gold. Part of the gold we earn for the season, why the reason the payouts are as low as they are, is a lot of that gold's held for Hunter.
10K.
Yep, it's held, it's pulled aside, 10,000. Imagine how much we'd each get 200 or 300 more per person. It's pulled aside and it's set aside mostly for tournaments and stuff that the non-competitive guys can play in. There's tournaments available. We ran 2 teams today, 7v7 at tier 9. There are always people looking for people for the tournaments. There are plenty of ways for people to go and play in matches and actually earn the gold that they're receiving. It's only fair that the competitive team that's fielding, every night, several games, and earning the gold is paid out a little bit ahead of the people who are just sitting in the side in the list. I originally thought, hey, let's wait until the next season to do this, but I think it's only fair to do it now where the people who are fighting for the gold are out another season of being treated fairly.
And I want to piggyback on this for a second with, look, guys, there's a reason. How many active members do we have on every night? You guys know? Take a guess.
25 to 30.
Yep. 2 teams of 15, guys. We had 2 teams of 15. We get 4 chips with the amount of people we have in this clan. 2 teams of 15. How many fights do you think we could fight a night?
8 or more.
8 or more. How many battles? It's what? 15? It's like 150 kills and we get so much gold, and it's 10 wins and we get so much gold, and it's other stuff and we get so much gold, right? So we're fielding 2 full teams. We field 2 full teams. That's a lot of gold.
It may be that we only get a bump in 15%. Maybe the second team isn't as competitive as the first team.
Yeah.
But that 15 to 20% extra gold goes into, that second team.
Yeah. And if you guys had to pick amongst anybody that's not on the, or even if we're on the comp team, to lead the second team, who would you pick? Like, just throw something out there. Throw a name. Nominate a name. I'm not saying that's who's going to get it. What I'm saying
that's preemptive. That's probably a little early for right now.
Never too early to start a second team.
Well,
but,
the point is that you guys that want to be competitive, that aren't competitive, or things like that, the idea is that you guys get your stuff together, start forming it up, and we'll make it happen. And that's not me saying, like, figure it out. That's me saying, hey, you guys get motivated. I'll help you out. We'll make it happen as a clan.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. I've got, that was Cash. PDX, you're on the floor again.
Yeah, actually, we should talk about the second team too after this conversation. The 2,000 gold is like $10. So we're not talking about pocket things. It's kind of more kind of symbolic appreciation kind of stuff, and it can be argued either way. I mean, but anyway, I've made mine. But there are some topics to talk about after this.
Asian, you have the floor again.
Yeah. So I like EDK's TPR's suggestion where those in battle should maybe get the bonus or multiplier more than just being on a comp team, because if in your suggestions, comp players that are also sitting still get the 1.25 multiplier, so that's not a very accurate depiction there. And in response to Pad, I agree with Fate, where I think most players would rather play than sit. You're kind of assuming that players want to not play and collect codes.
Never would assume that. What I'm saying is people are complaining because we proposed this, and that's what it is. And everybody has a right to have their opinion and their voice heard on this thing. What I'm saying is people who are gonna gripe, they're gonna either vote the party line or they're gonna do whatever they want to say or whatever they're gonna do when this is done and over with. But they're gonna complain about it.
No,
the
I'm just
complaint
saying.
is not to do that. What we're trying to do is figure out a way to sit here and compensate the guys who are bringing in the gold.
This was just in response to the words that you
No, I know.
explained.
I know.
And that's how it sounded to me.
I know.
And then, again, I just want to remind you, or I'm not sure what the word is
Reiterate.
If you want to field, reiterate. If you want to field 2 teams, you really need to be. I feel you need to be careful of not disincentivizing your non-comp players if you want to field 2 teams.
I don't think we're de-incentivized, or yeah, the long word that's hard to say.
De-incentivizing.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. I wasn't going to say it right. I think we're in turn, however, trying to give people an incentive to want to put in the work.
You can't also have like you have a certain number of comp players, but you can't have you can't have everybody be comp players and everybody be able to play, right? Because some people will have to sit, stuff like that.
I mean, if you have the player base for it, 100 people, 15 per game, I think you end up with like 10 people sitting out.
Well, there's guys who could use a break or want a break.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there are nights where I don't want to play, right?
I look forward to my Fridays and my Saturdays where I don't have to run unless we absolutely want to or need to.
So, and that's the point. That's why you have those extra 10 people in theory, is so you can rotate individuals in and out.
Yeah.
So
that's why I just wanted to put that out there, though.
No, I understand.
Hunter, let's go ahead and talk about that box game.
Well, let's not talk about the box game because we have a vote to make.
Yes, well, okay. We'll make the vote and then we'll transfer over to that.
Maybe talk about the box game again with officers and do it next town hall.
No, he wants to address. He
wants to do a public address.
That's fine.
Right,
so go ahead and vote on the should the comp team be weighted 1.25 to 1 share for gold payouts.
It's in
where's
Slack.
That? Where'd you
Slack
post
in
this?
general.
In general.
In general.
Oh, poop. Wrong channel.
It's up for vote now.
1.25 was the decided multiplier because it's a minimal amount to start with. It's 1.25 is the actual modifier we're going to in place.
So are we voting in general?
Yes, in general.
That'll get moved.
Because Lange was a nubtard and forgot what channel he was in.
I told you, but
Lange doesn't want to listen to us.
How do you vote?
Excuse me?
Hunter,
you don't want to listen to us.
You have to
want to listen to everybody.
Oh, we're using Slack.
Okay.
Though?
Yes.
Yes.
Lange, relax, bud.
I think Hunter and Buddy are both voting yes, but they did it wrong.
You just click the little one. You just click the little one down there, guys. Come on.
At the bottom.
Or the 2.
I didn't even see it.
Where?
Got it.
It says simple poll. It's literally the third message up. It should say, should the comp team be weighted at 1.25 to 1 share? You then press the button 1 or the button 2, depending which way you want to vote.
The buttons are on the bottom, not the ones by the questions.
Here is a diagram of how to vote yes.
It's the buttons.
Don't make Slange make a how-to video of how to vote in polls, please.
You will, though.
Yeah,
we know you. You like doing your videos.
There are 10 people.
Not that people actually watch them, but
We do a poll.
I've watched every one you've made.
I cry bullshit. You had to be pretty damn desperate if you did that.
But everything that you've made a video on, I already know how to do.
Like
I know how to piss people off, and I know how to make people question.
6 more people need to vote.
Yeah.
I don't want to see abstains on this.
Oh, fine, Dad. I'll vote in a second.
Actually, Pat, you can abstain. I don't want to see anybody else abstain.
Payouts for the tournaments just happened.
Oh, congratulations.
What
do we make?
Let's see.
2,000 plus 250.
Oh, they compensate us for their broken shit.
The
They
fuck up.
should've.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't
They
know,
thought
they
they
fucked
did.
up their own tournament today.
Yeah, that screwed
Yeah,
my
it was
team
nice,
over hard
wasn't
as
it?
hell.
This is wargaming, so this does not come as a surprise.
Yep.
like we got in there, had a full team. Battle
Hang on a
pop, we
second,
got
where are the other like 6 votes at? Lange hasn't voted, which is fine, whatever. I don't care. Pat hasn't voted, that's whatever. So that's 4 of the people that should have voted.
Here, I'll
put-
vote.
Put
There's no
EDK
third
in
option.
Put
Three more.
EDK in as a vote positive.
Vote positive. Okay, so EDK, thank you.
I can't
noted.
find the vote, so.
It's in
the
general.
channel.
in Slack.
Yeah, and it's these two little buttons.
I haven't
Well,
voted
well,
on it because I'm still
that's
not
right.
sure which way to vote.
It's right next to delete poll, but don't do that one.
No,
Blanchard-
I understand that. I'm still mixed on my feelings about it, so I'm undecided.
Lance, the safest vote is to vote against something that's going to pass or for something that's going to fail.
But the thing is that I do agree that the comp team needs something.
Well, yeah, they get to play in the competitive battle on the battlefield. That's something.
I feel like it's kind of conflicting because in some sense we talked about how there's like a negligible amount of gold, but then I'm thinking like, then why are we even talking about this? Because like you said, you want to help your comp team, but it's like
It's
going to
probably-
be if it's going to be a negligible amount of gold, I don't feel like it doesn't make sense why even doing that.
Okay, Nation, again, let me go back to the payout recordings here. Let me see if I can try to make this make sense, okay? So, I, as the main caller, who was here for majority of battles, okay, came out with 1309 gold. Now, I'm not complaining about how much gold I made, okay? This is just using me as an example. I buy my own gold. I don't give a fuck. My wallet, like, flies open, and Wargaming, in return, gives me shiny things, okay? So... But if we come down here and let's look at Thomas, okay? Thomas made 1,155 gold. Thomas played a fair amount of matches. He still made less than, Devil, who was here ridiculously, and PDX, let's see here, Merle made more. And the point is to bring the comp team, the people who are putting in the 4 nights solidly a week, up into these upper brackets of payout. That's really what it's doing. So you're looking at somebody going from making 11,000 and being here all the time
Here's
to making
another
17, which is a 600 gold increase.
Here's another argument though. Is like basically you have people showing up willing to play, but you're not putting them in because the comp team will get favored because they're on the comp team, right? So they're kind of at a disadvantage, the non-comp people, because they can't get in when a comp person's there. So now you're double punishing them.
They can get in.
No, what I'm saying
Well,
is like
only
if they're
2
there
per
present,
night, maybe.
but there's a comp person there, you're supposed to put the comp person then over the non-comp as long as they need to get the minimum 5, right? That
Nation,
you
there's
need
this
to get.
great secret about the comp team. You have to be competitive to be in the comp team. So,
No, I know. But
so
people
be
are-
more
people are
competitive than
there.
the person in the comp team. You get in the comp team. Crazy.
But to be on the comp team, you have to be present a lot. And if people are present a lot, they don't have the tag of comp, but they're actually there. So
Hey,
but they
Nation,
don't, but
if
they
you
don't
put
get
in
to wait,
overtime at your work, do you want to get paid for your overtime?
assuming you are paid hourly, yeah, right. But if you're not paid hourly, then
Okay, so if you're salaried and you see all these other hourly people getting this overtime where you feel like you're not getting what you deserve, don't you feel like, hey, aren't you lucky? Because I've been in those shoes. And
Yeah,
you always
it's-
look
you
at
get-
them and you
it's a
go,
trade-off, though. It's not-
yes, it's a trade-off. It is a
Yeah, you-
trade-off. Najan, you are
Yeah.
the most, you are sitting here, I love how you are arguing. And it's a positive, constructive argument, and I appreciate that. But
I'm
the
just trying to
problem
bring
is
points
this
out.
is going to piss off a lot of people. Like I said,
One way
people
or
are going to
another.
be mad. one way or the
But
other.
but you understand what I'm saying? Like people are,
Yeah.
if there was a non-comp person there, they'd be happy to go in there, or if they might even want to replace the comp person, but they can't because
I have a
they don't
question,
the comp
Agent.
card,
Were you
right?
here when we formed the comp team? Were you in the clan?
No, he's new.
No.
No. Okay. What's your availability? How many nights a week can you play? Even if you come to the late battle, how many nights a week can you play?
Almost every day. I think I missed like 1 or 2 complete nights, but every other ones I've shown up for at least a battle or 2.
Okay. What's the latest? What's your West Coast, right?
No, East.
East Coast. Okay, so what time do you go home? If you don't mind my asking
It
on
varies.
that. If you're
varies.
closing.
I don't have a regular schedule. Sometimes I work mornings, sometimes I work evenings.
Okay.
So it's not consistent.
Well, I'm asking because if you have the ability to be on the comp team, I do believe. How many spots do we have, Cash? Open right now?
We have 2 open and a couple alternate spots open.
We also have like potentially a lot more getting ready to open up as well. Last I heard.
So what I'm asking is if you feel as strongly as you do, and again, I commend it, I really do, because you can hear it from me how strong I feel on this. Is join the comp team. Come over, join the comp team, put in the fights, put in the time, put in the effort, put in the not seeing your wife or your kids, and not watching your favorite TV show or playing any other freaking game in the world, and come do this. Because that's what it's like being on the comp team. We chose to do this. Does my wife appreciate it? No, but she understands. There are some nights that she'll bitch like she is right now, you know, but it's my choice. I choose to do this. Chibi chooses to do this because we have competitive. We want to be competitive. Cash chose to do this because he wants to be competitive. But then it gets to a certain point, you're like, fuck, I need a break. The season's like once every 2 weeks, it seems.
That's right.
Yeah, so if you feel that you can come over and help the comp team, then by all means, say, hey, I would like to be on the comp team. I'll go play a couple games with you. I'll make a recommendation to Chibi or Cash where they can come play with us, and we'll be like, do we want them in Sunk? Didn't we just put you on the comp team, like, what, Thursday?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Because Sunk had the availability.
I would like to be on the comp team, except I don't think I should be because of my internet connection is not reliable. So I don't want to go into put into battles preferentially over other people who have more stable connections when my connection's not good.
And I understand that, but I mean, you see the compromise, right?
So it's not really willingness for me. It's just more like realisticness in terms of I don't want to hurt the team by being put in when my connection's bad. I want to try to let you know if like, oh, my connection is good, you know, and if you need me. And also I'm not looking to like I want to play just because like Fate says it's fun, you know. It's like, I don't really
absolutely it is.
I'm not doing it necessarily for the gold, but I'm really just more like cautioning you, like all these things. Like if it's a nominal amount, like it's wise to change the incentive structure for your non-comp people to even want to show up.
Yeah, we're you know how much gold it's going to be at the end of a 10-week thing after we get done and all that stuff. It might be 300 gold. I just play. I don't like chibi. I don't need Wargaming to give me free gold. I played a tournament today, made the gold.
Yeah, exactly. The tournaments are worth a lot more gold, so it's not. But
I do this because I like the competitive team play aspect of this game.
Here's
one
the
of these
thing.
days, I want to be like one of the big boy clans.
After doing Clan Wars all night for several days, the last thing I want to do is do a tournament every weekend.
That too.
There are easier ways to get gold. The non-competitive team non-competitive people should be looking more into those ways that have less of a commitment, that have less of a responsibility placed on each person's internet connection, for instance. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you have enough comp people that you don't need non-comp people, I think this is fine. But if you need comp people to show up to fill, then this is not the path to go.
All right.
Anyways, looks like you
Well, I
got
think-
17.
My opinion is, I think they're doing this to get more people to be on the comp team. To
Yep.
get a second team, we need to have an incentive for people to be on a comp team. If you don't give an incentive, they're just going to say, whatever, we're going to sit on whatever
Sidelines,
team,
we
so
don't need
we're
to
not
make a
going
second comp team because
Yeah.
we're going to get paid out just the same.
We're still gonna
This
find
is going
matches.
to make you motivated to come to the comp team.
Well, if
So-
you want more people on the comp team, why do you have a limited the number of members?
Because you can only have so many people per team. We're trying to create a second clan team. We've been talking about this since the end of Clan Wars last year. Creating another full team of 15 to 20.
Here, I'm going to answer the question more directly than that. Buddy, if I have a comp team of 30, or sorry, no, it can't be 35. If I have a comp team of 28 people, that means I don't have enough to field 2 teams. And that's probably ultimately going to be everybody who wants to participate in Clan Wars.
But
What
you
does that
have enough
mean?
people with 28 to do the rotations, and for
But
people
then
to
I
say, I'm
have
so
to
burnt
manage
out, I hate doing this.
rotations, then I have to manage all this other crap and break cohesion. When I can just have 15 to 20 people who know exactly what is going on.
All right,
smaller, the closer the unit cohesion is, the better they're going to function than trying to teach 30 people the same mat strap in large.
All
Here's
right.
a question.
Bottom line, this discussion is done. The vote's done. This discussion needs to be done. This is dragging on way too long. We can have
It's
another
on
discussion
topic.
about this. It is on topic, but we have beat the ever-living shit out of this. We need to...
And it's already been an hour, so I want to just move on.
Yeah, we need to move on. All right, with that, I think we're probably at a good point that we need to adjourn this meeting.
But the boxes.
Yeah, answer.
Yeah,
the
Hunter's
team,
got stuff to
so
go
much more
over.
talk about.
If you want to go over the boxes, Hunter, we can do that, but I'm going to put an end to the meeting after the box comment.
Okay, it's going to be really, really short. Hey guys, look, the deal on offering gold for the box game was just as an added incentive to make it competitive for people. People shouldn't be expecting that they're going to get gold by building boxes for the clan. The idea of strongholds is so that you can, build your credit base. I'm open to any ideas, any suggestions. Anybody has what they consider to be a fair amount or a fair way to do it, send it to me. But please don't anticipate that the gold payout should be normal for strongholds.
Yeah. All right. With that, let's go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you to everybody who came, and I know that there were still more people who wanted to talk, but we're just not going to be able to cram all of it in one
for those
meeting.
people
It's
who want to
massive.
talk,
And we'll talk
I'm here.
afterwards,
Okay,
yeah.
If you want to get your voice to an officer, I will pass it on. I am going to be here. Normally, you guys all get your chances to freaking address anything in the clan before meeting's called to adjourn, so I will be sticking around if you want to get your voice out to then pass that on to the officers. If you want to chat with me, you can meet me down in Shire after dark.
Any battles tonight?
No, God.
User left your channel.
And we haven't had enough, man.
User left your channel.
All right, with that, I have to get ready for work, so I am
User
off.
left your
I'll catch
channel.
y'all later.
Take care.
Have fun.
User left your channel. Disconnected.